Thanks for staying with us. While civil society organizations such as Imani Africa are demanding the withdrawal of the planned asset lease deal between Tema Oil Refinery and Torrentco Asset Management Company over lack of transparency, the Senior Staff Association of the Tema Oil Refinery have thrown their support behind its management and government over the deal. Reports have emerged suggesting that the Public Procurement Authority is set to lease the state-owned oil refinery to Torrentco Asset Management for a period of 6 years. But speaking to Joy News over the concerns of the CSOs, chairperson of the Senior Staff Association, Bright Adongo, described the deal as the most credible alternative on the table.
We think that the transaction should go ahead and it will help to solve the problems of the refinery. A deal that have gone through a big process, that have gone through the board system, that have gone through with a national advisor, that all the stakeholders, figure, finance, Ministry of Energy, has been involved and no objection has been issued, cannot be said to be not to be transparent. Obviously, that is not it. Currently, the refinery is going through a lot. You see, you have over $500 million debt overhang on the refinery. The refinery owns over 200 million Ghana cedi to GRA. We owe ECG, they are cutting our line here and there. We owe Ghana Water, and they are also cutting our water here and there. So I have said that the refinery is not making money, it's losing money. Okay, every transaction that we have entered, from who flows tolling, we have done about 8 million barrels of crude oil. We made a loss of $10 million. From BP tolling, we did about $28 million loss. So the refinery is not making money. Okay, if the refinery is making money, then we shouldn't have been having all this debt overhang on our neck. Okay, so the purpose of this transaction that we are supporting the board and then the government on this matter is that it will enable them to have some managerial control, to make the right decisions, to bring TOR back to profitability, and also make sure that they themselves will supply the crude, because the government is not giving the crude, government is not giving the capital, and government is not also giving any sovereign guarantee to anybody that partners the refinery. So you need to have some level of managerial control that will enable you to make the right decisions, that will bring the refinery back to profitability.
We are joined now by the chairperson of the Senior Staff Association, Bright Adongo. Thank you for spending some time with us. This is a facility that's considered to be of national importance, having, of course, served the nation over the years, except for its state in which it is now. What makes the deal clean as you're describing?
Hello?
I was just asking what makes the deal clean as you're describing, sir?
Okay, so like I said earlier, this is a deal that I've gone through the process. It went through a competitive bidding, and then it was selected, and then the transaction advisors were appointed. Then it has to go through the stakeholders, including SIGA, Finance, and then the Ministry of Energy, and then the board as well. So it is not a transaction that is like you just pick the company somewhere and then decided to say that, oh, we are giving this particular partnership to you. It's gone through the process. And whatever needs to be looked at, whatever needs to be asked of. I mean, it's still a running transaction, and I think we're almost about 90% to 95%. So, I mean, that is it. And we have heard that people are talking about TOR is being sold. It's neither here nor there. In fact, there's a difference between sale and the lease that need to be clarified. Tema Oil Refinery is not for sale. It is a partnership that will allow a private partner to come in to be able to help to turn the fortunes of the refinery around. So that is what it is actually.
The questions around uncertainties, especially for your workers there at Tema Oil Refinery, have you secured the assurance from the ministerial level that no job losses and that no future will be terminated as a result of this new takeover?
So, per our engagement with the stakeholders from SIGA to the transactional advisors to the board and whatever, as I speak to you right now, if you come to Tema Oil Refinery, in fact, I can tell you for a fact that we've lost most of our workers. In fact, if we have to do processing right now, we'll have to do a lot of employment in order to be able to keep up with the processing. Other than that, I don't know how we'll be able to do that. Okay. So the question is that he's sacking you to work with whom? When in actual sense, he even needs to employ more in order to be able to do this work. Okay. So that can never be true. The fact of the matter is that this is a transaction that will allow the partners to have some managerial control. And it is necessary because we have always said that those problems is a management problem. And once they are coming to invest in the refinery, and then they are not going to be given any sovereign guarantee. Petroleum industry is a capital intensive one. If you are bringing crude oil into Tema Oil Refinery, and you have the 3 parcels of crude oil, 1 million barrel each, 1 million barrel each, 1 million barrel each at a go, it's a lot of capital. So it gives you some level of managerial control in order to be able to make the right decisions. That can give you that level of profitability. So that has nothing to do with staff losing their jobs. Okay. In fact, this will rather improve staff's benefits, their livelihood. In fact, they have a program to do exchange programs in refineries outside the refinery, outside the country, in order to boost the capacity of the refinery workers. So, in other words, this is even rather better for the worker. Look, if you are having a scenario where for almost about 7 years, toll worker salary have never been adjusted up. Let's look at the inflation that we are finding ourselves in. Today, toll workers' salary is nothing to talk about. Your salary is around $500. This Dangote and these Middle East refineries, they are giving you $5,000, $6,000. Okay, so for us, this particular transaction will rather be beneficial to workers in the sense that you will be able to now go and able to adjust your salary because you will be processing and significant revenue will be coming in. And
I see.
This whole transaction is not just about also just running, but then it must run and run profitably.
But you are saying that because you are advancing a union position. That's fair enough. But the concern of civil society is that the profit margin, for instance, and how much this private investor is reaping off, quote and unquote, as their concerns are, it's not in the interest of the nation. Why are you not mindful of that?
Okay, so let me say this. What we are saying is that the civil service society organizations got it wrong on that. You are talking about Tor making $7 million profit. I can't tell. How can a company making that level of profit and yet you have a debt overhang of $500 million on your deck? Okay, and you cannot pay your GRA 200 million Ghana cedis. We owe everybody, including workers PF, 40 million Ghana cedis. We can pay. Okay, and so if you are making that level of profit, why are you owing? So we are only advising the civil society organizations that, so when you pick information, try and go to the source and cross-check. Don't rush and go to market with an information which ended up to be not to be true. Because the refinery is not making money. The refinery is making loss. All the transactions that we have done in the past. Look, like I keep on saying, from BP to what have you, Woodfields, all we have been getting, you can come and check the books. They are there. We are losing $28 million. We are losing $10 million in the case of Woodfields. Look, the one that the government even gave us, we made over $30 million loss. So the refinery is actually losing money. And we are at a critical point where the refinery, in terms of the assets, if we don't take that, we'll lose the assets and the refinery will be gone. Because as we sit now, the critical plant, that is the RFCC, we have to, as it were, try and put nitrogen in it and then more boring so that to avoid losing the plant. We have boiler 8 that up to now we cannot even commission because we bring this boiler in order to be able to support the steam production. We cannot. If you look at our tankerage system now, over 59 tanks, 20 is out of 7. We don't even have money to fix it. And we are losing the assets. And the worst is that the workers are even also leaving. So for me, if you have this particular transaction on your table, and it is not like you are even comparing to anything on your hand, and you have opportunity that when you have found any other transaction that can give a better offer, buy them out and take them. Okay, so I seriously.
But it's not as though alternatives have not been put forward about the future of this oil refinery. There was a regime or a previous leadership of this same NPP administration that proposed turning around the place and making it a tank farm. I'm sure that you as senior staff have heard of that proposal. Would that not rake in more money for the country as compared to this lease agreement that we're carrying?
Okay, so let me put it this way. First and foremost, this refinery was built by the founder of this nation for a purpose. You see, the refinery was built at the time that we have not been refinery oil. So the refinery should run strategically and for certain critical reasons. So for instance, if you're talking about tank farm, okay, the tank farm idea, if you realize the reason why BOST was set up, BOST was supposed to be a strategic stock and you store over a period of time so that in case of any force majeure, you fall on that reserve. Okay, so the refinery is a refinery, it's not a storage tank. So we should get it clear. And it should be made clear. I think the link is gone out.
Oh, no, I'm with you, sir. I'm listening to the point you're making, yes.
So I think that it is critical to understand adding value to our raw material and the importance of the refinery running. Okay, so that is why we are saying that, look, if you look at your tank farm, you see, this tank farm proposal, the finance team had done some work where other people wanted to look at storing product in our tanks.
Yeah.
They cracked the numbers vis-a-vis the current proposal that is there. It doesn't come anywhere. So why don't you run the refinery and get the returns that we have on the table now? And then for strategic reasons, adding value to our raw material. It only makes sense.
Yes, but I'm talking about the numbers. For instance, we're putting this national asset into a private person's hands as compared to turning it around into a tank farm and still having the existing facilities such as BOST collaborating with your outfit so we can make some more money.
So as it stands now, this is a lease over a period that eventually after the lease period, it will return back to the government. Okay, so I think that needs to be emphasized. And if you want to collaborate with BOST to store its product in TOR, the TOR as it stands, we even allow private companies to bring product in. Okay, I mean we build synergies across, but the core mandate of TOR is refining. Okay, and the refining must be done well, and the numbers vis-a-vis the tank farm doesn't support the tank farm. Okay, look, we have let's even take the current tank farming system. We have significant product accounting challenges. Okay, so if you have product accounting challenges and you don't have very good investment to be able to manage that, you have things tight in terms of the product accounting system, then obviously you will have problems. Okay, so that is the crack of the matter.
Okay, and finally, as we wrap up, are you equally mindful of what happens beyond the lease agreement?
Yes, so the essence of all this private lease partnership is to be able to bring the refinery back into the path of profitability. In fact, the thinking of the leadership is that, look, before the lease ends and the refinery returns to profitability, our communication that we're trying to lobby government is for government to reduce its stake from majority status to minority status. And so that we can list through, for example, on the stock exchange, and to allow Ghanaians only to buy the shares. You see, this will allow TOR to run very, very efficiently. You have an example like GOIL. GOIL used to be a state-owned enterprise. And today, GOIL is on the stock market. And look at the profit that they are delivering on the balance sheet as of now. So what we are looking at, this is to bring the refinery back onto profitability. And hopefully we will engage the owner of the refinery to reduce the state from majority status to minority status. Then it can go on the stock exchange. Then it can be managed prudently based upon profitability.
All right. Grateful. Brian Adongo is chairperson of the Senior Staff Association of the Tema Oil Refinery. Thank you.